long distance fishing, something that I've always loved doing, and I've not done a lot of it this year, so I've got a couple of day sessions fishing on this great big reservoir, 70 odd acres, you know, it's full right up at the moment. A lot of the fish are sitting out at range as well, and yeah, it is really like a real nice bit of fishing. It's not fishing too great at the moment, but it is doing a few fish, and the fish that it's doing, they're quite big fish for this reservoir down in the southwest. So yeah, we're going to have a look at sort of what gear and what sort of rigs and stuff, baits that you need to use to fish at range, and just like a real nice, easy, simple approach to sort of long range fishing. There's a few little things we got to do as well along the way, because this reservoir's also got some, like, you know, roach, skimmers and bream in as well. So it's like avoiding them whilst just targeting the carp. And yeah, hopefully, like, yeah, we've got 2 day sessions. I'm on one side of the reservoir today, and then we're on the other side tomorrow. So hopefully over the 2 days I'll be able to trip up a couple of carp. And yeah, but either way, it's just nice to be out crunching a bit of carbon and doing a nice bit of distance fishing. One of the main things about fishing at distance is getting dramas, whether that's like wind knots, cracking off, or, you know, just things happen that just make it like, not annoying, but like it just causes little dramas. So like the key to fishing at range well is avoiding the dramas, and like starting from sort of like the rig end, the more components you have in the rig, the more fancy it is. It's just more stuff to, you know, it's more stuff to go wrong. So for me, fishing at range, and it's something I've seen like from where like I've done my European fishing, like with the, sort of like the World Championships and things like that. Like the guys that are good at fishing at range with that, it's so simple. You know, they're using like just mono at lengths, just stuff that can't go wrong. Dead simple setup, and you know, this is no different really. It's just a nice supple D-rig, and on there I've just got a paste wrapped wafter hookbait. I've got an 18mm wafter, and just use a little blade just to knock a little flat bit on there, and cut a bit of pop up just to put like a topper on it. In this water, orange goes really well. I've always caught well on orange, and yeah, so I've got the 18mm wafter, the orange topper on there, and paste wrapped it with some boilie paste. Now these boilies that I'm using, that's the SLK, and you know, it's ideal. Like a lot of the lads that fish on here are using it to good effect on here, so it's what I've brought as well. And you'll notice on the top of there, I've actually, where I flossed it, I've actually flossed on a boilie stop in there as well, so that just stops, you know, your bait coming off when it goes in. If it goes in with a bit of force on the cast. With the hook bait, the idea of putting the paste around it is just to add that added attraction. You know, I've got like a high attract liquid as well that I can just massage onto the actual bait before I chuck it out, and this is just gonna help the fish home into that hook bait as quickly as possible. So as soon as they come in the peg, you know, there's not thousands of fish in there. At times it can seem quite easy, and at times you wouldn't think there's a fish in the lake. But when they come across your bait, what you want them to do is to be able to identify the hook bait easier than anything else, because you know, you need the bait to attract the fish into your peg, because the bottom of the lake is so, you know, it's quite a barren lake, to be fair, other than it sort of tapering down from shallow one end to deep the other. The actual bottom is just like a red squidgy sort of, you know, squidgy mud. It's not silty, it's just like a red mud. You know, sometimes when the water's low, it's out of, you know, it's dry, so it's a hard bottom, but you need a feature, and your feature is your bait. You know, you're also contending with the species like the roach and the skimmers and the bream, and I know how ravenous the bream can be on here. I fish a few like seatbox matches on here every year, and even then, you know, I spot it up or I put quite a bit of bait out, and the bream just mop it up in no time. So you need some decent tough baits, a mixture of sizes as well that's going to stay in your peg all day long, and yeah, and last the course of the day. Otherwise you'd just be sitting there fishing free hook baits all day. And you know, this is just perfect for chucking over the top, and you know, when the carp comes in and they're having a feed, they can get on this straight away. I'm just going to chuck a couple of spods out and top up the spot. Obviously I already put some bait out this morning. It'd be worth mentioning sort of like what we're using, and quite a few of the lads that are fishing here, they're doing really well on the SLK. So that's what I brought with me today. I've just got mixed sizes, got some 12s, 15s and 18s. When I fish other places, I've always sort of like soaked my bait sort of like the night before or whatever, and like clear venues that have got like not many small fish, it's quite nice to sort of like mulch up a bit of bait, so you've got that like mixture of boilies, bit of, you know, like bigger crumbs, some like, you know, some where you mulch it up it goes a bit cloudy, and that works really well on sort of like clearer venues or venues that have got less small fish in. Whereas like this reservoir, there's actually like there's a load of silverfish present. Like, you know, like I said earlier, if you were to say like mulch your bait up, like it's really attractive when you sort of like break it up a bit, and it's really attractive to the carp. But if you were to do that in here, it's also really attractive to the roach, and like where it's quite deep, that bait going through the water like that, you're just gonna, you know, I know from when I feed a fish on here, if you have quite a few chucks and your ground bait comes out your feeder on the way down, straight away you're getting like small roach and indications, and they're annoying when you're fishing for the bream. And it's no different to now. So like, I've got my boilies, I've not mulched any of them up, and you see me breaking up that boilie paste, squeezing it into little hard lumps. Now what that does is that's just the same as crumbing it up, or like mulching a few boilies, but because it's in those blobs of paste, it goes down to the bottom, then it melts, then it breaks up. So you've still got the same attractiveness of all of like what you would normally do. But you know, the roach and that are only a problem when it's falling through the water. Whereas when the paste goes to the bottom and then breaks down, it's oozing off all that attraction, but without actually encouraging the roach. Yeah, so, and you know, again, the baits are really soft. Soaked them just the night before with a bit of boiling water. I've put some SLK food liquid, and that's about it really. Like, you don't need loads of little bits and bobs. You just want a nice, solid, good boilie, you know, that's attractive, that's gonna like last in your peg all day, keep working. You know, you want it mega attractive because you're only fishing for the days. So it's like, you don't want to put loads of bait in, but you still need some bait, because like I was saying about, you know, the nature of the lake, how it's sort of is quite barren on the lake bed. So you really need your bait to be working for you. Bosh. So we're fishing like just under 150 yards, but that'll probably do out there. Just topping it up, just to freshen it up, because we're getting, you know, we're getting sort of towards the like late afternoon, and that's where like the lads that have been fishing here, that's when they've been catching anywhere from like 3 o'clock onwards. We got to be out the gate for 6:30, so we've now, yeah, got a couple of 2.5 hours left or whatever it is. That'll do, but yeah, that'll do now. So we'll hang this rod up. Just wanted to freshen the spot up, just so if there's any fish looking to feed, they can smell that straight away, can drop down, and yeah, hopefully we'll get a bite. Well, no fish today. We've literally sort of got a couple of minutes left before I've got to wind the rods in. I thought it was a bit of an ass, to be honest, from this swim. Didn't have a lot of choice. I'm not on the end, but there's a few fish up in the far corner, but it's still, they're miles away from where I'm fishing at the moment. Yeah, so but that's life, that's fishing. So yeah, gonna get packed up. We've got to be out the gate in sort of half an hour. So, and we're like the furthest walk, so we've got a mission to get right the way back across the reservoir. And yeah, back in the morning for another go. Well, we're here for the second day now. So basically, where I was fishing yesterday, we see a couple of fish. The reservoir was full, for every peg was taken, but the only fish to get caught was from the end swim. So basically, there's like a no fishing bit up in the far corner. You can't get anywhere near it really from this side. On the other side you can, but that peg was booked out, so we couldn't get in there. So we're back on this side. We're a bit further up from where we fished yesterday. We're on the end now. And yeah, and the lad that fished in here yesterday, he caught the only fish on the whole reservoir yesterday. He had one fish, a 20-pound common. So we've got in here today, and yeah, we're going to try and winkle one out. The gates open at 7:30. We were straight round here, and like from the approach, I chucked out 2 bags. Like normally this, normally you can catch on a solid bag on it. It's really good. It's a really good tactic. Not over bait, because obviously if you put any bait in, you could end up catching bream on solid bags. It's quite an effective rig for a bream. So we come round. I've chucked out a couple of solid bags, just sort of as far right as I could chuck them, and then I'm going to put a couple of spods straight out, just so we got some bait out there. I don't want to just be sat here just fishing solid bags all day. I want to try and encourage something to happen. I don't want to fish too negative. So yeah, I'm going to pop a little spot out, probably put like 5 or 8 spoms out, and that'll be they're just enough to get a bite really. And then I'm going to give it half hour on the solid bags, and then I'm going to get them in and get 2 rods on the bait and leave 1 on a solid bag, I think, for a minute, and just just see how we go. Until I see something, then there's not really a lot to go on other than just do what he thinks best. But I feel like we've made the right move to come round this side again. Normally, like I say, I'll go to that race hut. It's normally a really consistent peg. However, the fish that were seen, chatting to the guys that were fishing on the far side, and the lad that was fishing in this end peg, the only fish that was seen were up this end. So I think we're sort of in the right area, 100%. But it's what it is. We're here, and just see if we can get a bite. He's on, isn't he? Well, got to be in it to win it. We were hanging on and hanging on and hanging on,
and we've only gone and got a bite. It's not in yet, but it's on. And if you'd have asked me 5 minutes ago, I was ready to throw the towel in. It's a relief. It's been tough. We've managed to get a bite. Gonna have to go on a walk down here a minute. She's in. She's in. We got her. Huh. What a relief. Nice little blank saver. Yeah. Chuffed with that one, to be fair, not gonna lie. Of course, a massive fish the last few weeks. But you know, it's still great shoe when you're not catching nothing and you know, you feel like you're putting the effort in. So yeah. We haven't got long before the gate shuts, so we better get this one up on the mat, have a look at her, and yeah, get packed up. So come on. Oh, there she is. Yeah, nice blank saver. What a lovely fish. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen. Didn't think it was going to happen, to be fair. But it just goes to show, like, you know, the solid tactics that we've used and the baits that we've used. You know, they always keep me confident. I'm mega confident in how I sort of tackle venues like this. Yeah, some days it's easier than others, and this session's just been a bit trickier, but we've got one, and it just goes to show that the approach was right. And yeah, but we've not got long before the gate shuts, so I hope you can take something from this session and put it into your own fishing, you know, on a venue similar to Durleigh. But more importantly, just make sure you enjoy it.